Everybody, welcome in. Can y'all hear me okay? We doing good? How y'all feeling? Okay, okay. Just a second, there is an echo. I gotta find it. We're gonna find it. That is wild. Because I can hear myself like in a different window or something. So we gotta figure out what that is. There it is. I found it. All right. I thought it was Mercury doing the thing, but we are good. We are good. I am so glad to see you all. I'm so glad to see you all. Thank y'all for joining me on your Sunday afternoon. I know this is impromptu. I know that this is Easter Sunday for folks who observe. So I just wanted to pop on and just say hello. Hi. I was thinking about you. And I believe that the ancestors have a message for all of us today. So I'm really excited to be in the midst with all of you. For those who don't know me, my name is Jeida K. Storey. This is Storytelling Tarot, and I'm so excited to be doing something like this. It's a little different. We're not going through the signs today. This is just kind of like a quick Sunday word that I think will hold us and kind of keep us and just give us a little bit of like that just encouragement to kind of keep us going. I'll tell you why this kind of came to me today. I have been doing the thing that they tell us not to do, doom scrolling on Twitter. And it is just, it's not a good idea. There's so much going on in the world, y'all, and not just on like a collective or like global level, but also individually. As I was just scrolling, I was just finding myself getting a little emotional because there's so much pain, there's so much hurt, there's so much neglect. Um, 'Cause even though we're active on social media, sometimes I feel like we feel so alone that even our timelines can be like these weird I was going to say echo chamber, but not in the sense that we're used to hearing it, almost feeling like we are in a hallway by ourselves and we're kind of yelling into the void, and the only thing that we can hear is our own voice come back to us, and it's feeling like you're in an audience of one and it's just you by yourself. And so the first thing that's coming to me that's a message for us all is that our ancestors are keenly aware of our matters, like the heart matters, the soul matters, the money matters. They are aware of what's going on in our lives. And so, as I was thinking about these things, I was thinking about today being Easter Sunday. And a lot of y'all know by now that I'm a very churchy hoodoo. Uh, I don't identify as Christian any longer. However, there's something about the blood. There's something about resurrection. There's something about whew, there's something about a comeback story. There's something about the underdog coming back and winning. There's something about shooting that winning shot right before the buzzer goes off when you were down. There's something about your naysayers having to eat their words because here you are standing in the winner's circle when they thought that they left you a long time ago. Woo! I feel this thing already. Woo! I want to thank y'all, to all of those who are here. Uh, This is the churchiness coming out, but I was glad when they said unto me, let us go to the house of the Lord. And let me tell you something about that. Even if you are someone who's churched, someone who's unchurched, someone who don't want to have nothing to do with it, I want you to know that when we gather, even if we're gathering online like this, when we gather, their God is in the midst. Their God is in the midst. Not because God is just like this, being outside of us, but because we are God. We are expressions of God. And so when we come together, of course, God is there because you're here. So thank you for being with me. Those who are watching me live, those who will watch the replay. Your energy is what is kind of making this current flow the way that it's flowing. And so I'm grateful. The good news that I'm hearing already is that every single person under the sound of my voice, you are living your comeback story. I'm going to say it one more time. You are currently living your comeback story. I don't know where you are right now. I don't know your situation. I don't know what's troubling you. I don't know what's like has you downcast in your soul. I don't know who hurt you. I don't know what they said about you. But when I tell you this, you are living in your comeback story right now, today, in this moment. And how do I know? Because you are living flesh, blood, and bone of your ancestors. You are living flesh and bone of your ancestors. That's how I know you're living a comeback story. Because we are the flesh of the ancestors who have already gone on to glory. We are currently proof that life don't end in death. Baby, death ain't nothing but a portal. Okay? It's nothing but a door. We are living proof of this. And so no matter what's happening in your life right now, the ancestors, the great witnesses are coming to gather around us on this Easter Sunday to say, the fact that we are here in the spirit, the fact that we are rooting for you, the fact that we are still present in your life and witnessing you and praising with you and lifting you up is proof that you are living our comeback story. Woo. They do not only live on in the spirit realm, okay? They're living on through us. They're living on through us. And so I know that your ancestors are here right now because you're here. And so I thank you for being here. I thank you for continuing on. You are living your comeback story. And I feel this, y'all, because there is so much. There is so much hurt in the world right now. I know y'all know because I feel it too. Jaden said, turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, the blood resurrects. I'm telling you. In the story, Jesus is not the only one that got up. We can get up. Our ancestors got up. And that's why they are saying that you can get up. This is not the end of the story. Just because this may be the end of a chapter does not mean it's the end of the story. I'm here to tell you. I feel this. So I'm not going to be before you long because I know some people have dinner. I literally have some greens on the stove right now. I got a turkey in the oven. So I'm not going to be here long. But I just had to say this because I feel like the ancestors wanted us to hear this today. So I already pulled the cards. And I asked them to tell us about our comeback story. And so the cards that I received were the Two of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. Whew, my God, on today. Mm, 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 mm. Woo. Ooh, all right. The Two of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. And the first thing they're saying to me is that us, yeah, I say y'all, but I'm including myself. We have been all up in our minds, trying to negotiate with life, trying to negotiate with capitalism, trying to negotiate with our obligations, trying to negotiate with ourselves into or out of things that just don't, things that just feel bad. And the Two of Swords reminds us that we know better. The Two of Swords reminds us that we know better. Even if it takes us a while to come back to that knowing, even if it takes us a while to take the next step. The Two of Swords is saying that you know better, and you know that this particular path, this particular storyline, what's happening right now is unsettling you. And so you are at a point now where you're about to have to make a decision. You're at a point now where you are about to get to the fork in the road. And what they're saying about that fork in the road and determining where to move forward, there's something about completion that's necessary right now. Because to bring Jesus back in, now you don't have to be Christian. You don't even have to believe that Jesus existed. You don't have to be none of that. But if we even think about the resurrection story, knowing that this man knew that they were out to get him. This man knew that there was only one end. But what was the end that Jesus knew? What was the result that he was looking forward to? Because, baby, it was not death. It was not. That's the end that Jesus' ops was looking forward to. They were looking forward to the sacrifice. They were looking forward to making an example. And ain't that like capitalism? Ain't that like white delusion? Ain't that exactly like all the systems of oppression that come against us? Ain't that like transphobia? Ain't that like homophobia? Ain't that like anti-blackness? I'm going to make an example out of you. I'm going to bring you down to size so you don't ever think you could ever stand against me. Ooh. And I think about Jesus being in that garden of Gethsemane, weeping, because he knew in order to do this next thing that's going to be huge, it's going to look like they won. And that's what I feel like we feel right now. So what I'm talking about is the Ten of Wands. That's what I'm talking about. That's where we are right now. Because I feel like a lot of us, we have woken up. And I know that people have, even white delusion has weaponized the word woke. I know they have. So I feel like this is like the past. Yeah. We already know better. We're not negotiating anymore. We've done our weeping in the garden. But Spirit is saying that where we are now is the place of completion. And it's a heavy load, y'all. It's a heavy load. Woo. Because it's one thing, it's a vulnerable thing to be in the garden and to pray to God to say, there's got to be another way to do this. There's got to be another way to do this. It's a whole nother thing when Spirit says, get up and walk. It's another thing for you to hear your enemy closing in on you as you are yet praying. God, get me out of this. Whew. But how many know? I feel this. There can be no resurrection without death. There's a portal that we have to go through, y'all. But it does not end at demise. It does not end in despair. It does not end with sorrow. But sometimes we feel it. We feel that. Whew. And so what are the things to bring it back away from like the hard, feelings around actual literal death, right? If we take it away from Jesus' story and now put ourselves in the story, what are the things that we are avoiding? What is the bell that we know is time to ring that we know can't be unrung? Because we already know, we've seen, we already know, we've been at this place. We're at this crossroads and the decision is being made. For many of us, we know that liberation is a must. For many of us, we know that this story that we're currently living in, the only way to get to the goodness is to go through a change. The change is not always about death, right? The change can also be about shifting. The change, the completion could for you be about initiation. The change for you might feel like loneliness. The change for you may feel like the hard, like the weight of financial strain. There's a weight. But it's a portal. It's a door. There's something about trusting that the divine is not going to leave you in the middle of the story. So, the Ten of Wands speaks to us about this ending that has felt unbearable. But it also speaks to us about completion. What is the work that maybe you and I have been avoiding? What is the test that we have not been ready to take? What do we need to see all the way through to the end? I started talking about Jesus, likely because it's Christmas and my spirits are very churchy. But like I said, it's not always that type of dramatic, painful ending. Sometimes Spirit is just saying, we're waiting on you to do the thing you said you would do. What's the thing that you said you would do that would honor yourself? That would honor and uplift your community? That would bring hope to the people around you. Because if we think about the story of Jesus, why did Jesus die, right? Why did all this happen? Aside from the fact that a lot of that just is a whole lot of, was it really necessary? I ain't gonna go into picking the story apart. But if we're following the storyline, the point of the death, burial, resurrection was so that people could be redeemed, so that people could find the divine, so that people would have access to the divine. That's why Jesus did it. And so, what are the things that you need to complete to see through so that people can find the divine? There is something that you have that's specific, that was handed to you by God and your ancestors. What do you need to finish? Mm, mm. Ooh. Because when you see it through, because what I'm hearing is for some of y'all, the work that needs to be finished and carried through is just really, like I said, that honoring of yourself. It's your commitment to refuse self-abandonment anymore. Yeah. My sibling, James, the conjure cleaner, said, before you do the roll opener, did you finish everything else you were supposed to do? It's exactly that. So, what are your commitments this week, my friends? What do you need to see through to the end? Because we're talking about comeback season and what it looks to welcome the comeback. Because a lot of times completion feels like burnout. Feels like doing a thing by yourself. It feels like being ignored, your needs going unmet. Why isn't anybody helping me with this thing? Why doesn't someone see all the effort I've already done? Spirit is saying, just wait. Just wait. You know, even in the story of Jesus, as Jesus was being taken down by the state, if we're being quite honest, there were people who still believed, even when it looked like, even when he was suffering. And what, in the midst of the suffering, in the midst of the thing, what does that mean? What is that telling us? There are still people rooting for you, even when you feel like you're going down. There are still people who you have a particular story, because you know this. There's a part of the reason not only is story my name, but it's something I believe in. We all have stories to tell. We all hold stories, and there are people, specific people, who I know are called to you. And so, just like in the midst of Jesus being taken down by the state, look at how there were people on either side. One who was tripping, but there was another who was like, I believe you. You don't belong here. You should not be suffering. You have a gift. You have a calling. But I want you to know that even though this story, this particular chapter isn't ending the way we want it to, remember me. Don't forget about me. So as we are going through completion, as we're finishing things, as we're tying up loose ends, as we are honoring ourselves and our ancestors and our spirits and the divine, Let us not forget, we were never fully alone. It doesn't matter if you'd had crowds of people praising your name, because even Jesus had a crowd of people days before the state took him. It's not about the crowds of people. It's for the people who believe. And so you have something special, even in the midst of all the things that feel like have you backed against the wall. You are here in this moment now because your comeback story is happening now. Now. So don't worry about the praise. Don't worry about the attention. Don't worry about where things are coming from right now. Focus on the work. Focus on the completion. Because once you do, what happens when you go all the way to the end? You find yourself at the Ace of Pentacles. You find the divine giving you back what was taken from you. You find the divine giving you your money, your resources, your gifts, your talents, even redeeming your time, the time that you thought was lost, the time that you were working by yourself and you felt like nobody's seeing my art, nobody's hearing my voice, nobody cares, nobody's wiping my tears. It's coming all back. It's your comeback story. And it comes as a seed, y'all. It comes as a seed. It comes as a gift for the divine to show you all the possibilities of what can be. There's a powerful, powerful video that just did something to my churchy spirit. And I'm going to make sure that after this, I link it in the description box because I need y'all to go see this. I need y'all to feel this thing. There's a video of a person creating something out of nothing. They did not even have a seed. What they did is an experiment. They took a jar, they filled it with dirt, and created an ecosystem. It's 100 days of what happens from just having a jar with dirt. And in 100 days, it became a whole ecosystem that even had animals, different types of life forms. And all the raw materials was dirt. You know that saying that's like, they thought they were burying me, but they were putting a seed. They didn't know I was a seed, or something about a tree growing. Y'all know the saying. It's exactly that. Because your comeback season is about you understanding the purpose of your giftings. It's so that you can look back on the difficulties and say, oh, that was rough, but that was a portal. And that was, although some of the things that happened, it wasn't like, because I don't really like to say like, oh, it all was for a reason. Because there's a lot of harm in our stories, right? There's a lot of abuse in some of these stories. There's a lot of pain in some of that. And so I don't like to say that God brings things to, build character, because then that will make the divine abusive. And that doesn't resonate with me. But what does is, even though that happened to you, you're a seed. Even though they harmed you, you're a seed. Even though that was painful and you cried and you thought you were alone, your great cloud of witnesses have always been with you. to remind you you are a seed. That means that there is life there. Mm. Mm. We're coming back, y'all. Mm. We're coming back. And it starts with knowing what you know. It starts with knowing which direction to go. When you are at the crossroads, it starts with knowing. It starts with going inward to trust the divine that's already inside of us. Not always what's out here. What does your own spirit say? What does your own Ori say? And then being able to see all of the realities that exist. And that foresight is what keeps you moving forward into that completion, into moving forward. Because for you and all your wisdom, for you and all your foresight, you know that the portal of the death, the transformation, because we talk about death, we're talking about transforming. When we see that difficult spot, we know that that's just a chapter. It's not the end. And we even know that as we move into this comeback season with this new opportunity, new abundance, more time, a second chance, resurrection, even this is not the end. It's a seed, the beginning of a new thing. It is all of who you are, all of your giftings in its infancy, and still is brilliant. Still is beautiful. Still you shine, my loves. And so I like to think that when Jesus was in the garden, as the story goes, that what made him get up and finish the job that was before him is that he saw a glimpse of his own glory. And so today, may we all see a glimpse of our own glory. May we see beyond what scares us. May we see beautiful things coming for us to enjoy. May we see abundance that looks like community. May we see joy and laughter. May we see ourselves at the cookout doing a two-step with a drink in our hands and a good plate. May we see ourselves held in support and safety and security. May we see ourselves living in a world that is not trying to kill us. May we see ourselves shine brightly and brilliantly in a room with other people who are shining brilliantly and beautifully and not feel like their light is causing ours to dim. May we see it. That instead of feeling like someone else's voice is more important, that we could be a chorus, a choir of glory. May we see it. May we see a place for our specific giftings, where may we see that there is no need to compete. May we see that we can come from a place of enoughness where we don't have to feel like I have to fight for importance. May we see it. Mm. May we see a world where our elders are honored and accountable. May we see a world where our children are protected emotionally, physically, and spiritually. May we see a world where parents are supported. May we see a world where young people, teenagers are taught and trained, and that their gifts are able to be fully expressed without trying to silence them. May we see it. May we see it. Mm. May we snuff out evil. May we snuff out abuse and harm. May we see healing take us over. May we see our ancestors elevated up high. And as my best friend and my sister Sarah says, as we elevate our ancestors, may they elevate us. May we see it. That's on the other side. That's on the other side. And my only thing that I want y'all to be thinking about today as we close, we will see it. And as a song that I used to sing in church says, we won't stop until we see it. Mm. Whew. All right, my loves. That is all I have for you. I hope that I was helpful to you. I hope that you start to feel and sense the rumblings of your comeback season. I hope that you start to pray for it. I pray that you would start to see yourself walking around in this world. I hope that this will help you when things are difficult, because we know right now in our reality things are difficult, but I hope that this will help you finish what you started to begin to plant that seed. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming today, y'all. I hope that this blessed you as much as it blessed me. I give thanks and honor and high praise to the ancestors who are here, not only mine, but each and every one of yours, who pressed it upon me that we needed to be reminded that it doesn't end here. The realities are, things are tense right now, but this is not the end. It's a tough middle. But one thing I know for sure, and I can feel from your energy, that we will not stop until we see our glory realized. We'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.